Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're well. What are you up to creatively? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So today I'm using one of my most favourite paints. This is from Royal Talens. It's Amsterdam's Pearlescent paints. So they look white. I know you probably think I'm just holding up some white paint, but believe me, when they are mixed with a darker background, they will transform and change colour. It's because of the light reaction bouncing off of a dark background back through the paint that really helps that colour come into its own colour itself. But I'm also using Australian Floetrol. So Australian Floetrol mixed with some paint will create an activator. And I'm going to swipe with that today to create some cells and lacing. So I've mixed my Australian Floetrol with 4 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, and I've mixed it with a lamp black. So I'm doing a lamp black 1 part paint to 4 parts Australian Floetrol, and that's what's going to create my cell activator. So the idea is to have a darker background, so a dark base using the black, place some of the what looks like white but really isn't, the pearlescent paints on top, and swipe over all of that with a black activator. Maybe it sounds a bit more confusing than what it is, so I hope you follow along, have fun. If you do this as well, let me know. Drop that also in the comments below. I'd love to know if you're doing this and giving this a go. But as always, thank you for being here. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so I've got all my paints on my table. So I've got my Lamp Black by Amsterdam all mixed up. And then I've got my Pearlescent paints by Amsterdam all in the tube. They look white, but really they're not. Please believe me that they will change colour. I've mixed all of these with a pouring medium and water. I've used 1 part paint, 1 part water, 3 parts pouring medium. So 113. I will drop all of that information in the description box, but I'm also using Australian Floetrol. This is where the magic happens with the lacing and the cells. And I've mixed this Floetrol up with some lamp black paint to create a cell activator. So when I swipe using this mixture, it should create some lovely cells and lacing. Let's see if that's true. Anyway, more coming soon. Please follow along. If you're enjoying the video, please share out. But for now, there's my paints. Let's go. So the first thing to do is to take that cup of black paint and place some of that in the centre of the canvas. I don't need to fully cover the canvas at the moment, but I am going to pick up the canvas and just spread some of that paint out across that surface area. We're going to add some volume to this, so I will be adding some of those pearlescent paints on top of that black paint before fully stretching out the canvas itself. So I'm going to layer the paints in the area where the black paint is and then use my palette knife to spread some cell activator on top of those puddles. As you can see, the pearlescent paints look white, but I have written the name of the colour on each cup, and I've matched that colour with the spatula that I'm using. So you can see I've just placed some green, and then I'm going to go for some red, and then I'm going to continue using each colour one by one. I'm just adding a little bit more black paint in this corner, but it's starting to react. So let me take you in for a quick close-up so you can see those puddles. Can you see those colours? Can you see that blue, that white, that green, that yellow, that red, that purple? Let me know in the comments below if you can already see the outline of those puddles and those colours. So here comes the activator. My cell activator is a mixture of black paint and Australian Floetrol. The ratios that I use is 1:4. 1 part paint to 4 parts Australian Floetrol. And I'm just adding that to the palette knife now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the palette knife and I'm literally going to place that palette knife over the top of those puddles and just swipe. So here we go. Just balancing that palette knife on top of those puddles. And then I'm just gently gliding that palette knife over the top of those pearlescent puddles that we've just layered. Everything goes black, but don't worry, it's going to react. That cell activator is going to do exactly what it says. It's going to start creating cells. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch out this paint across that full surface area. But can you see there the cells are already starting to react? Let me just take you in for a quick close-up, just so you can see. You can probably see that green, that purple and that yellow already reacting with that black paint. So it's now about stretching the paint out across the canvas to cover that full surface area. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with how it's reacted. I'm happy with the composition. So let me take you in now for a closer look at the wet version. And I think you can already see some of those colours reacting and coming into themselves. I can clearly see the purple, the blue, the white, a little hint of green just in that corner. I'm really happy with how it's reacted. I've got those cells there. And don't forget, I used a black cell activator. So the pearlescent paints themselves work really well with a dark background. So that's why I didn't choose a white cell activator in this instance. But I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to show you the dry version. In terms of drying, it takes just a day or two to touch to dry, but it will take a good few weeks to fully cure before I apply a spray gloss varnish over the top. And this is going to really work well in the sunlight. So if ever you buy a piece or create a piece yourself, make sure when you display it, you ensure that it's in a light area so that light can reflect on that piece, bounce off that black background and really showcase those colours. So I'm now going to leave you with some of these details. I'll go in for a close-up. This is the dry version, but it's not yet varnished. A big thank you to each and every one of you for being here. If you're enjoying my videos or if you really enjoy my channel, please share that out, recommend it to people. I'd really love to grow the channel and reach new people that might be interested in the work that I create. So a big thank you in advance to you for doing that. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments, and what else would you like me to experiment with? Have a great week ahead, take care, and I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. See you soon everyone, bye!